Cherry left actually, I think, yeah, like towards the end of 2000. We knew that was going to be her last season, and it was a big deal. But at the same time, I was wanting to branch out a little bit more and maybe get a little bit more serious and evolve some. And I also wanted to expand the rep a little bit more to include other things. I just knew from my experiences with Hubbard Street and getting to do so many different things from so many different choreographers that I wanted that for the company as well. And the first person that I brought in that everybody was so excited about, Danny Ezralow, and he created Pulse, which was one of the coolest pieces I think also that he's ever created. They wore little booties and we figured out what material to put on their feet that would slide the best on Marley. And it was just this piece of just all sliding. It was like magic. It's like you were skating, so like skating across the floor and within that good choreography. And the dancers just ate it up. That was a really big success, and we rode on that one for quite some time. And I thought to bring in, like, what about somebody here that I really like, that I think can fit into what we're doing, but help us expand into another kind of lane a little bit, but still keep it River North. And that was Julia Rhoads. And she created Oasis, which was, again, another one where the dancers was like, because she could demonstrate everything at the time and could still like dance so beautifully. This is very, for us, we'll say, modern piece. So that was really fun, and she was a ball, and the dancers loved her. And just when you have that kind of chemistry and synergy, then I think you get something good at the end. And I was still choreographing every year or something, and I always made it a point, not that I had to force myself, but I always wanted to do something different than the last thing I'd done. So I felt in that way I could help keep moving things forward and satisfying some dancer needs in that way. And again, I don't know how many duets I choreographed, but I was just fanatical about that, and I really continued to get my sea legs underneath me, if you will, with some signature pieces, and The Morning was one of those that I did in 2005, but I actually initially created for J.P. Tenuta and Raphael Zamba on Momentum, and loved it. And then I tweaked it a little bit and was able to put it on the company. 2005 really sticks out in my mind as well, because that's the year that I created Habaneras, the music of Cuba, which was those albums that I was talking about that I listened to in the living room. The music is just that I was recreating that feeling. That music drove in me, and I wanted to recreate it, and I dedicated it to my dad. And then that piece became our kind of new signature closer and signature piece for the company after Reality of a Dreamer, and that was our closer for quite a long time. It was my first little ballet. It was like 6 sections and a lot of partnering, women's section, men's section. Very different than anything I'd done before, but still had such flair. And I've always been an extremely musical choreographer. And I think that has always come from my having been a musician and my early experience with music. It just worked.